This piece of equipment can replace an entire gym. Today, I'm going to share 7 exercises that can train your entire body. This isn't kettlebell juggling. It's compound, full body functional loading. You can use a single kettlebell to hit all of your major muscle groups, helping you build strength, torch fat, and reinforce a bulletproof core, all without ever stepping into a gym.
Comrade, the kettlebell has been instrumental in weeding out weakness.
We'll start with the simplest exercises and then move on to those that more and more people do incorrectly. So I bet you can probably do number 1 properly, but I bet 90% of people are doing number 7 wrong. Now, some kettlebell purists may hate me for this first one, but a kettlebell can be used for isolated arm work like bicep curls. In fact, there's actually quite a history of legendary strongmen who curled kettlebells. Depending on the weight of kettlebell you have, there's 2 options for how to perform these. For a moderate or heavy kettlebell, use a towel fed through the handle and perform a strict hammer curl, focusing on having a strong contraction at the top and actively lowering the weight under control until you reach full extension at the bottom. This variation happens to be one of the recommended ways Master Kettlebell instructor Pavel recommends direct arm training.
If you don't know how, I'll teach you. If you don't want to, I'll make you.
I personally find using a towel hold versus just grabbing the sides of the handles to be a better version, as it ties in more grip and form strength to the movement. If, however, you only have a light kettlebell, just perform single arm curls. This is a great variation, as it not only can help you build muscle size, but also help fix any side-to-side potential asymmetries. Now, don't get lackadaisical with your setup or motion. Stand up tall, squeeze your fist hard before you move the weight. Tense your abs and glutes. Think of this as a full body movement. It's not a party trick. Engaging your abs and glutes will actually give you more power for your bicep curls. The next exercise focuses on another common area many want to target when it comes to muscular development, the chest. Now, most only think you can train this area with your standard barbell or pair of dumbbells within a traditional gym setting. However, the kettlebell floor press is another excellent exercise and one that can be done easily at home. The first thing to consider when performing the floor press is how you pick the weight up safely. Roll over toward the bell into something resembling a fetal position. Grab the bell with both hands, one on top of the other, stiffen your core and roll onto your back as one complete unit, keeping the elbow close to your body. Next, we need to establish a stable back position, just as if you were laying on a bench. So actively pull your shoulder blades together and down and lift your chest. After, with both feet straight, tighten your entire body before pushing the kettlebell into a locked out position over your shoulder. Slowly control the weight down until your triceps touch the floor, being careful not to slam the elbows down. You can perform this exercise with your palm facing forward as it would be with a standard barbell, or facing towards your torso, whichever is most comfortable. A common mistake: if you tuck your elbow too much, it can create a mousetrap fault, which creates excessive stress and strain on your wrists, elbows, and shoulders, and makes the lift extremely difficult to complete. Instead, focus on keeping your elbows stacked vertically directly under your wrist joint the entire motion. Now, if you want to move through a greater range of motion and place more of a stretch on your pecs, which can be conducive for maximizing muscle growth called hypertrophy, you can perform a modified floor press. Start by swinging one leg over your body and position yourself to where both feet are facing the same direction. Now, you'll want to anchor yourself down to something heavy with your non-pressing arm. As you control the weight down, think about pressing your shoulder into the floor, and you should notice a good stretch in your pec near the bottom. Okay, so far I've shown you how to work your biceps and chest with a single kettlebell. Let's next talk about your triceps and deltoids. We're going to perform the overhead press. Start with the kettlebell in a front rack position. Your wrist should be straight with the bell resting on the back of your forearm. Perform the press as a circular motion, moving out to the side while keeping your forearm vertical as you move the arm straight up towards your ear. If you can, try to lock your elbow out at the top. Our goal should always be to move through a full range of motion with these exercises. Again, make sure to focus on keeping your core tight with glutes squeezed, then press the weight. If you don't, it's easy to let your low back arch excessively and lose control of the weight. Okay, 3 exercises down, 4 more to go. Let's turn our attention to the back side of your body. This next exercise will help you build a strong and muscular back. and if done correctly, will also improve posture and spine stability. I've chosen the bent over row. It can not only help you strengthen the muscles of your upper back, such as your lats, rhomboids, and traps, but also requires you to involve your core and posterior chain for stabilization, connecting your entire body through the lift. Assume a split stance position, stiffen your core, and move into a hinge. You can have your other arm resting directly on your forearm like this. Then, grab your kettlebell with a firm white knuckle grip. To perform the row, think about driving your elbow back towards your hips while keeping your core as stiff as possible. This is going to help limit the common compensation we see of bending the elbow too much or rotating your torso. Okay, let's focus on your lower body for this next exercise, the Goblet Squat. Legendary strength and conditioning coach Dan John calls this the single greatest exercise. To perform this correctly, we need to start with your stance. Most people feel best with their feet relatively forward or with a slight toe out position. If the feet turn out too much out to the side, it can lead to instability and hinder proper control of the rest of your body. Just as with a barbell squat, you want to stack your ribs on top of your pelvis before you begin the descent. This will ensure proper core stability and limit excessive stress on your spine. With the kettlebell held by your chest, grabbing the horns of the handle, open your hips up slightly and slowly descend while keeping your body weight spread evenly across your entire foot. Think about your foot like a tripod. If all 3 points remain equally pressed into the ground, you'll stay balanced and the right muscles will engage at the right time. If you take your shoes off and notice your toes tend to wiggle and float around during this lift, you've got too much weight into your heels. Your elbows should remain close to the bell so they run on the inside of your knees. If they touch your thighs a bit in the bottom, that's completely fine and is a good way to tell if your lower body is in a good position. Okay, let's keep going. These next few exercises on my list are ones where people start running into problems with their technique. However, I'll say these last two are my personal favorites. The next exercise is a single leg RDL, proven by research to be one of the best exercises for engaging all 3 glute muscles and your hamstrings. Unfortunately, many people perform this exercise incorrectly. They'll either drop too low, which increases stress on the low back, or they twist their pelvis open, which limits the involvement of your lateral glutes. To perform correctly, start with a slight bend in your stance leg and make your back leg completely straight. Lock out your knee. While it's not incorrect to hold a single weight by your stance leg, I like to place the load on the opposite side. This requires your core to work a little bit harder to maintain torso position during the hinging motion. Next, rather than focusing your attention on dropping the weight straight down, which can lead to the back rounding and not feeling this exercise in your glutes and hamstrings, we're going to think of this movement as a predominantly horizontal motion. Slowly hinge by driving your heel back and leaning your chest forward. The weight will drop down as a side effect of a proper hinge. Only go as low as you can while keeping your back flat. Pause for a second or two in the deepest position you can control and then stand back up. If done correctly, you should feel tension building in your glutes and your hamstring in the bottom position. Another key aspect to proper form is keeping your pelvis level. If the hips spin open like this, you're going to see less engagement in the hip and pelvis stabilizers like your glute medius and minimus. So a simple trick I like to use to keep your pelvis level is to point your back toe of your free leg directly towards the ground as you hinge. All right, let's finish with my favorite kettlebell exercise that unfortunately is also the one that's most incorrectly performed, the kettlebell swing. Research has consistently shown swings build strength in your glutes, hamstrings, and core, enhance cardiovascular endurance, meaning it's very heart healthy, while also improving your power and explosive strength. Now, most people turn the kettlebell swing into a front raise, but that's not what it's supposed to be. The arms are only there for a ride and transmitting force. Today, I'm going to show you a trick to learn proper swing technique that I learned from master kettlebell instructor Pavel. We're going to perform a towel swing first. Thread a small towel through a light kettlebell handle. Men start around 35 pounds, women about half that weight. With the kettlebell resting in front of you, assume an athletic stance. Take a breath and pull the kettlebell back between your legs. Your forearm should contact your upper inner thighs and your arms should be snug against your ribs. Then, quickly extend your hips forward while keeping your arms long and relaxed and stand up straight. Lock your knees and clench your glutes hard in the top position. Your explosive hip drive should launch the kettlebell in front of you. You're doing this correctly if the bell stops somewhere between your groin and chest height. Your goal should be to try to make the kettlebell hover weightless for an instant at the top of the swing. If performed correctly, the towel will stretch and form a straight line from your arms to the kettlebell. If you incorrectly lift with your arms, the bell will droop or spin and the towel will snap. The towel swing technique will easily exaggerate any mistakes in your form and provide you with obvious feedback to teach you how to swing correctly in just minutes. Once you can achieve 2 straight lines at the top of your towel swing like this, you're ready for the classic kettlebell swing. The setup will be the exact same as the towel swing, except this time, take a light grip on the kettlebell handle. A tight grip makes the arms rigid and does not allow an explosive swing. Look straight ahead or at a spot on the ground about 6 to 10 feet in front of you. While keeping your feet firmly planted, swing the kettlebell behind you while keeping your arms again connected to your ribs before then driving your hips explosively through and start your swing. Keep your arms connected to your torso through your lats the entire time. A helpful tip to feel this desired lat connection is to squish your hand into your armpit. This action should make your lat muscle pop a bit. Try to keep that connection during your swing. When you're done with each set, slowly let the bell passively pendulum forward and back as you set it down between your feet. Now, if you're dealing with aches or pains while performing any of these exercises, my injury fix book, Rebuilding Milo, is on Amazon. You can check out the link below. And if you're interested in pairing any of these exercises with a quick 8-minute core stability routine, I'd check out this video next on the lock base 5 routine. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.